Your online success here, Danielle K. Howell. And I'm going to start going live here on YouTube. And this is going to be my first live series, which is I'm going to be reading this book. This book is very, very profound. It's called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And anybody that knows me knows that I love this book. It's a short book, but it's a very powerful book. And it really teaches you how to think outside the box, despite what society has told us. So, if you're my follower here on YouTube, then you know that I am very in tune with, spiritual principles. And I don't just think that we are here as regular human beings. I believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And life always brings me back to this book. No lie. Because sometimes even I forget, right? I get caught up in things that kind of strays me away from my purpose. But when I get back on track and I start to align myself again, this book just pops up. So I'm going to read this book today, hopefully next week, Saturday around this time, and the week after. It's 4 chapters. I believe it's 4 chapters. I know it's 4 agreements. No, it's 7 chapters actually. So for the next 7 weeks, I will be reading this book. And I would love to hear your comments below. I would love to see your comments below. I would love for you to let me know if you've read this book, or feel free to read along with me while I read this book for the next few weeks. Okay, so right now it's about 4 o'clock. So what I'll do, I will try to make sure that for the next 7 Saturdays, I will be here at 4 o'clock live so that we can interact and read this book together. Okay, so let me read the introduction. I'm going to read the introduction. I'm going to read chapter 1. So the Toltec. Thousands of years ago, the Toltec were known through modern southern Mexico as women and, wait, let me put on my glasses, as women and men of knowledge. Anthropologists have spoken of the Toltec as a nation or a race, but in fact, the Toltec were scientists and artists who formed a society to explore and conserve the spiritual knowledge and practices of the ancient ones. They came together as masters, naguals, in parentheses, and students at Teotihuacan. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The ancient city of pyramids outside Mexico City, known as the place where man becomes God. Over the millennia, the Naguals were forced to conceal the ancestral wisdom and maintain its existence in obscurity. European conquest, coupled with rampant misuse of personal power by a few of the apprentices, made it necessary to shield the knowledge from those who were not prepared to use it wisely or who might intentionally misuse it for personal gain. Fortunately, the esoteric Toltec knowledge was embodied and passed on through generations by different lineages of Naguals. Though it remained veiled in secrecy for hundreds of years, ancient prophecies foretold the coming of an age when it would be necessary to return the wisdom to the people. Now, Don Miguel Ruiz, a Nagual from the Eagle Knight lineage, has been guided to share with us his powerful teachings of the Toltec. Toltec knowledge arises from the same essential unity of truth as all the sacred esoteric traditions found around the world. Though it is not a religion, it honors all the spiritual masters who have taught on the earth. While it does embrace spirit, it is most accurately described as a way of life, distinguished by the ready accessibility of happiness and love. So that wasn't the introduction. That was like a little snippet before the introduction. So now, as far as copywriting goes, right, I don't know if I have permission, honestly, to read this whole entire book word by word for word. So maybe I will skip some of it. I will, maybe I will, what I'll do, I will, maybe I'll read the ones that I have highlighted, right? So this way we can kind of discuss. So this is the introduction, the smoky mirror. 3,000 years ago, there was a human just like you and me who lived near a city surrounded by mountains. The human was studying to become a medicine man, to learn the knowledge of his ancestors, but he didn't completely agree with everything he was learning. In his heart, he felt there must be something more. One day, as he slept in a cave, he dreamed that he saw his own body sleeping. He came out of the cave on the night of a new moon. The sky was clear, and he could see millions of stars. Then something happened inside of him that transformed his life forever. He looked at his hands, he felt his body, and he heard his own voice say, I am made of light. I am made of stars. He looked at the stars again and he realized that it's not the stars that create light, but rather light that creates the stars. Everything is made of light, he said, and the space in between isn't empty. And he knew that everything that exists is one living being. And that light is the messenger of life because it is alive and it contains all information. Then he realized that although he was made of stars, he was not those stars. I am in between the stars, he thought. So he called the stars the tonal and the light between the stars the negual. And he knew that what created the harmony and space between the two is life or intent. Without life, the tonal and the negual could not exist. Life is the force of the absolute, the supreme, the creator who creates everything. This is what he's discovered. Everything in existence, and I have this stuff highlighted. I don't know if you can see, I have this actual passage highlighted. Everything in existence is manifestation of the one living being we call God. Everything is God. And he came to the conclusion that human perception is merely light perceiving light. You say that again. He came to the conclusion that human perception is merely light perceiving light. He also saw that matter is a mirror. Everything is a mirror that reflects light and creates images of that light. And the world of illusion, the dream, is just like smoke, which doesn't allow us to see what we really are. The real us is pure love, pure light, he said. So I'm going to skip some of this. And it says, I'm just going to read the highlights of what I highlighted. It is true. I am God, but you are also God. We are the same, you and I. We are images of light. We are God. But still, the people did not understand him. So he went out talking about all this stuff, right? So basically, what he's saying is that everything, right? We all are one. We're all light. Light perceives light. And so when you come here and you see me and, you feel my energy, you are feeling the light within me. Speaking of light, I see this light like all over my glasses here, but I can't move it. So everything is light, right? We are all a manifestation, a creation of God. We are an extension of God. So we are all God. So chapter 1 is called The Domestication and the Dream of the Planet. Domestication and the Dream of the Planet. What you are seeing and hearing right now is nothing but a dream. Do you believe that? You are dreaming right now in this moment. You are dreaming with the brain awake. Dreaming is the main function of the mind. And the mind dreams 24 hours a day. It dreams when the brain is awake, and it also dreams when the brain is asleep. The difference is that when the brain is awake, there is a material frame that makes us perceive things in a linear way. When we go to sleep, we do not have that frame. and the dream has a tendency to change constantly. Humans are dreaming all the time. Before we were born, the humans before us created a big outside dream that we will call society's dream or the dream of the planet. The dream of the planet is the collective dream of billions of smaller personal dreams, which together create a dream of a family, a dream of a community, a dream of a city, a dream of a country, and finally a dream of the whole humanity. The dream of the planet includes all of society's rules, its beliefs, its laws, its religions, its different cultures and ways to be, its governments, schools, social events, and holidays. We are born with the capacity to learn how to dream. And the humans who lived before us teach us how to dream the way society dreams. The outside dream has so many rules that when a new human is born, we hook the child's attention and introduce these rules into his or her mind. The outside dream uses mom and dad, the schools, and religion to teach us how to dream. Attention is the ability we have to discriminate and to focus only on that which we want to perceive. We can perceive millions of things simultaneously, but using our attention, we can hold whatever we want to perceive in the forefront of our mind. The adults around us hooked our attention and put information into our minds through repetition. This is why we learned everything that we know. By using our attention, we learned a whole reality, a whole dream. We learn how to behave in society, what to believe and what not to believe, what is acceptable, what is not acceptable, what is good, what is bad, what is beautiful, what is ugly, what is right, what is wrong. It was all there already, all that knowledge, all those rules and concepts about how to behave in the world. So I'm gonna skip some of this. We also learn to hook the attention of other humans, and we develop a need for attention, which can be very competitive. Children compete for the attention of their parents, their teachers, their friends. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Hey, I'm here. The need for attention becomes very strong and continues into adulthood. The outside dream hooks our attention and teaches us what to believe, beginning with the language that we speak. Language is the code for understanding and communication between humans. Every letter, every word in each language is an agreement. We call this a page in a book. The word page is an agreement that we understand. Once we understand the code, our attention is hooked and the energy is transformed from one person to another. It was not your choice to speak English. You didn't choose your religion or your moral values. They were already there before you were born. We never had the opportunity to choose what we believe or what not to believe. We never chose even the smallest of these agreements. We didn't even choose our own name. So it goes on and on. I may have to break this up a bit because, like I said, due to copyright things, I don't know if I need permission to read this. So I'm going to break some of it up and maybe we'll be here for a few more weeks besides 7 weeks. But I'm going to end with this. The outside dream may hook our attention, but if we don't agree, we don't store that information. As soon as we agree, we believe it. And this is called faith. To have faith is to believe unconditionally. So he goes on to talk about this. This is called the domestication of humans, right? So basically what he's saying, I'm going to stop here on page 8. Please get the book if you have it, and you can be here next week with me. What he's saying is that we have been domesticated as humans before we were even born, right? Everything that we think right now, everything we believe, everything we've been told, everything we've been taught is because we have made an agreement with this domestication passed down through generations, through generations and generations and generations. All of humanity have agreed, right? Some people, every agreement is a little different. Some people agree to be Muslim, some people agree to be Christian, some people agree to be Catholic, right? But nonetheless, we're all in agreement with some type of religious belief or some type of moral beliefs it's immoral to kill or steal or whatever. We believe these things because this is what we were taught. We were taught these things. Now, if we were never taught these things, we would never have an agreement to it. It goes deep, right? So we think that we live in this free society and I'm free, but we're really not, because we're domesticated by our minds, our thoughts, our actions. We've all been domesticated. So what we have to do, and he goes on to talk about this stuff, is that we have to not agree to certain things, right? And then, of course, you become rebellious if that's the case, if you decide not to agree. But we've been domesticated. All of these things that we think we know, or we think we are coming up with our own ideas for the most part, they've already been brought to us from somewhere else, from some other entity, some other human, or some other code, and it was brought to us. So really, what do we do? As babies, before we were even born, we were taught to call our mom, mom, and our dad, dad. Why? Why do we have to call them mom? Why do we have to call them dad? Because this is what we were told. You do as you're told. Through repetition. Sit in that chair. Why is that chair a chair? Because we say it's a chair. So this book, when you start to realize all the things that we've agreed to, and he goes on to say how we can, break these agreements. And that's what's so powerful. How do you break these agreements? You can't break all of them because they're ingrained in you. They're part of your DNA now. It's like, you can't break all of them. But how can you break free from some of these agreements? How can you take control of your life without having to subscribe to humanity's definition of what you should do and what you shouldn't do? How can you? And that's what he goes on to talk about in the book a little later in later chapters. But the domestication of humans. Think about that. How we've been domesticated. How we've agreed to be who we are, or live where we live, or, work where we work. Our morals, all of that stuff that we have right now going on. Like, how did that happen? Have you ever thought about that? If you haven't, well, welcome to the 4 Agreements. Welcome to your online success coaches channel so that you can start to think. Here we expand minds. I want your mind to be expanded so that you can start to think more, ask questions, right? Knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. When you understand that you are domesticated, the first key is awareness, right? That's the first key. That's the first step to transformation, is awareness. So we're here to transform, right? Transform lives. Grow your bank account. Expand your mind. And the only way you can do that first is by being aware and asking those hard questions, and really thinking and digging deep inside of yourself and saying, I never thought of that, right? I love this book. And as we continue on, we'll be here for maybe about 20 minutes every Saturday, and we will dive into this book until we're done. But please pick up this book. It's called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Look him up. Look him up. He's also made a 5th agreement. I didn't read that one. Oh, did I? I don't remember. But I'm just stuck on this one. I'm stuck on this one. Like I said, life always brings me back to it. And when you look at it, you'll see that it's called the first chapter is Domestication and the Dream of the Planet, which he talks about how we've been domesticated. And then he goes on to say how we can transcend all of that by being impeccable with your word, not taking anything personally, not making assumptions, right? Always, these are the codes to freedom. These are the codes to success. Breaking old agreements. He goes on to tell you how you can do it, and how you can ultimately have heaven on earth without ever feeling stuck, wondering what's going on, just not feeling your best. He talks about, and he gives you the steps to how you can ultimately break free and break through so that you can live your best life. All right, my friends. Well, thank you for coming on. Like I said, I'll be here live. I'm going to try to go live throughout the week, but definitely on Saturday, I will be here talking about the 4 agreements for the next few weeks. And get the book so that we can discuss. Leave a comment down below if you're watching the replay. And let me know if you've read this book. Some of you have read it with me through my other channels, my Dream Team Economy and my Black Wall Street, which we will be starting up again soon, is a crowdfunding site that I have put together for those who are entrepreneurs, those who have a need for funding for certain projects or whatever. You'll be learning more about that soon. But again, people have worked with me and we've read this book from cover to cover. And I encourage you to get it. Read with me. Read on your own, but read with me every Saturday until we are done. All right? Leave a comment below, but be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And this is my first time going live in a very long time. But we'll be here live very, very frequently. All right, guys? Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.